Greetings! You're watching Septum Sen vs. the World. I'm Septum Sen, and I'm here with Kotobuki Jake,
Hi.
and we're doing a pickup video.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we're doing a release video.
Right, okay, we both got confused.
A lot of the pickup video this week is going to be put off on hold. We're actually guesting on another channel's show, and we had to use that extra time. We're on very limited time here with our filming. So we're guesting on somebody else's show, and we'll be posting more about that later on. So we will look forward to seeing you there. But in any case, I'm hoping y'all are enjoying our Camp Blood series. And we're going to go ahead and then run right into it, I guess, this time around. So go ahead and...
Okay, so this week we're kicking off with a very well-known series that apparently neither of us has watched. You said you saw one episode, but it's a comedy. It's a Cartoon Network, right?
Yep.
Cartoon Network series Samurai Jack. It is up to its season 5 release, but they're also releasing a complete collection of all 5 seasons.
Yep.
So if you've been getting it one bit at a time all along, you can finish it off this week. Or if you're like us and you've been slacking, you can go ahead and get it all at once. I looked through the cast list. This has a phenomenal cast.
It's got awesome reviews. It's just
the dude that played Hermes on Futurama is the main character, and then you get Mako and Billy Dee Williams. Not him. Sort of. D. Bradley Baker. That's what I was trying to say.
There you are.
Not Billy. No, whatever. He probably showed up in one episode. I know Mark Hamill showed up in an episode. But anyway, it's got some good, like I said, awesome cast.
Yeah.
The animation is weird. But I think the people that like it really do get into it. And I'm very curious about the show.
Well, the season 5 is weird. It's a specialty on that because this is when the series returned briefly for this kind of resurrection, I guess, so to speak, in season 5. So it's kind of cool that it's included in that big set. Speaking of series that have been resurrected, Hunter x Hunter set 3 is coming back after nearly a year hiatus of these releases. Because I went 1 and 2 really quick, and then 3 almost a year later. But this is, of course, a Viz release. It's releasing episodes 27 to 50, so rather big chunks for Viz. Nice series. It has run its course. It runs a little bit more on the story than the old series. It actually gets up to a little bit after the Chimera Ant story.
He has the old series, a lucky bastard. It's
it's
impossible to get. But this one. It follows much of the same story, right? Just like a little...
It's sort of like Dragon Ball Kai to Dragon Ball Z, which is... it's not a huge difference in a lot of areas, but it's a little bit cleaner. It's a little bit better overall, I think.
Okay, cool.
So, in that sense... I think it's going to be an interesting continuation of it. I'm still waiting for it to come down in price because I'm strapped for cash. Yeah. And there's one other item on this list I want, so I have to go for that instead.
Only one?
Well, there's a lot of them I want. But I can't afford a lot of them.
You're going to go for that one.
There's actually a couple of them that are actually ordered already. Like Samurai Jack was ordered for $60 when it came out at $60 on Amazon. It's more than that now, but it's still less than what it is on Right Stuff. So, it's good to know.
Probably going to be a Black Friday pickup for me. Yeah. Anyway, the next one on our list starts a rather lengthy bundle. And I guess we'll just ping pong back and forth between till we're through them, I guess.
Yep.
G-Kids apparently has taken over the reins for the home video releases of all the Studio Ghibli films.
Yep.
Originally, Disney had released most of them under their own banner.
Yeah.
But at the point, I think it was Tale of the Princess Kaguya, that they handed it over fully to G-Kids for the release. And everyone since then has been a G-Kids release. But now they're releasing a lot of the ones that have already come out. And the first, there are several this week. and which is interesting. They're doing so many at once. But they're getting DVD and Blu-ray releases, and from as far as I can tell, they're not really any special features or anything, right?
I don't think that. I don't consider them. They can't really be. Of course, I haven't examined it, but I really don't see them as being that much superior to the Disney releases of these.
Now, granted, every one, with one exception, all the ones coming out this week I have on DVD, so they're all ones I need to convert. And especially because Ghibli films are gorgeous.
The first one especially.
But the first one is the best, for many, many Americans, it's the movie that got them into anime. It's the one anime that has won an Oscar for an animated feature. And until Your Name came out last year, it was the top grossing anime worldwide ever. It still stands as the highest grossing film prior to its American release. It made over $200 million before its American release. And I'm talking, of course, of Sento Chihiro no Kamikakushi. Or Spirited Away.
Say that 3 times fast.
But Spirited Away is an excellent film. It's overrated. I think Ghibli has made better films. But it is a really good film. And the fact that it's getting a re-release, I'm not sure how important that is because it's still widely available.
And on Blu-ray, too.
But a Blu-ray re-release, it will help make it more available in that format. And yes, I do need one day to convert this to Blu-ray, so it'll be nice.
Howl's Moving Castle is the next one on the list. And again, one of the few I've actually seen in theaters. Excellent movie. Not their best, but certainly far from their worst. And again, wonderful movie, deserving of praise. Glad it got a nomination. It did get an Oscar nom, I think.
Yeah.
And again, glad to see it revived. Again, I've got the Disney Blu-ray copy, so I'm not really sure if I need to update or not. If any of y'all actually look at these and examine them, post in the comments, of course, where you would say, yes, these are worth upgrading from the Disney Blu-rays, and here are the reasons why.
Yeah.
I would love to see that.
Good for us, and also good for anyone else reading the comments.
Oh, most definitely.
And I also, both of those I saw in theaters. The next 3 either did not get proper theatrical releases or have only aired. No, this one did, but I missed it because it was an art house release. But before Spirited Away was that was the point where Disney made the big buy to get Ghibli. But just before that, their Miramax banner, which unfortunately this week has had some cloud put over it, their Miramax banner released Princess Mononoke, which Mononoke is, to my mind, marginally better than Spirited Away. It is a great film. It's a good action film, but it is also one of their most blatant. Spirited Away has this, Howl's Moving Castle has this, but Mononoke is one of their most blatantly environmentalist films, and I love that. Well, I do.
There was the other one.
Nausicaa's the other
Nausicaa's
big
really
one.
The biggest blatant.
Yeah, well, a lot of them were, but those 2 were big for that. But Mononoke is a really great action film for people that actually want a mature, well-told story and not just Ninja Scroll. And and it's, again, a gorgeous film. And all 3 of these I do need to upgrade to Blu-ray just because they are gorgeous. They're great on DVD, but it will be worth getting an upgrade.
I have upgraded all 3 of these to Blu-ray, and I own the 4th one on Blu-ray already. But, well, the next part is Kikis Delivery Service. Kikis is actually my favorite Ghibli film. It is not the best. I'll admit, it is not the best of the films, but to me it's the film with the most heart. It's not exceptionally preachy. It's light. It's fun. I actually like the original English dub. Disney did another dub over it, which is kind of sad. I've got both the Disney Blu-ray and the other release that they did because I actually liked the song that they did for Kikis. that Disney said, well, we don't need those songs anymore. We'll just use the originals, which I know you'd like and that, but I still say that those were excellently crafted songs and well worth keeping in.
Are they included in this?
That I'm not sure. I think that they've also done the one that Disney released, which is the original soundtrack to it.
Right.
I'm surprised that they're actually doing an English dub on any of these releases, because they haven't really done them on many of their other releases.
Well, on these?
Well, at least on the ones like
G-Kids?
Yeah, G-Kids when
they
they released
dubbed everything.
Because G-Kids didn't dub only Yesterday or
Yeah, they did. I watched the dub.
Okay, they didn't dub The Ocean Waves. That's
they
the
didn't.
One that, yeah, they didn't dub Ocean Waves.
Well, they did. Yeah, they definitely dubbed only Yesterday.
Okay.
I did watch that dub, and it's pretty decent.
Who knows? Maybe they redubbed it. And this next one, if they redubbed it, that would be the third time.
And speaking of ones that have classic Disney songs, this one classic songs. This one has a song that was wonderfully spoofed on South Park. but the next two actually. All of these are not just Ghibli films, they're Hayao Miyazaki films. We were just talking about Only Yesterday, which was by his co-founder, Isao Takahata. And Takahata and Miyazaki co-released, they tried twice to do simultaneous releases. And their swan songs failed to make that by almost a year and a half. But the first time they tried, they succeeded. They released two films on the same day. And one of them is widely regarded as one of the best and most depressing films ever made, which is Takahata's Grave of the Fireflies. And the other one was Miyazaki's film, was one of the best children's films ever made. My Neighbor Totoro is a great, great kids movie. But it's great for all ages, which is one of the reasons why I like it so much. It is a very, very, very essential film. Even though it is aimed at a young audience, it has iconic characters. Like the character of Totoro is, he even made an appearance in one of the Toy Story movies, which is kind of fun. It's a fun movie. It's well worth watching. And it's actually a really good counterpoint. If you want to watch Grave of the Fireflies, you can put on Totoro afterwards for kind of a detox.
So, I actually believe this is one of those examples where a dub was done differently. How different dubs of a film can actually bring across different emotions. Fox did an original dub of Totoro, which is actually one of the reasons why I have two copies of it. And the Disney dub was closer, I think, to the original translation, but was much darker. The characters were not quite as loving, I guess. It's hard to really explain it. But I've listened to both dubs, and I really do like the Fox one better. But it is interesting to note that. It's actually one of the reasons why I still have two copies of Totoro in my collection. And speaking of Totoro-like movies, Ponyo, which is a more recent film, that kind of went to try and capture that feel of Totoro. It's slightly environmental, childlike feel. And it did a fairly decent job. I mean, I think this one really was one of the ones that Disney was Disney-fied the most, in a way. I mean, you even had like that song at the end that was redone by was it a Hanson? Not a Hanson. What do they call it? What were the it was a couple of Disney child stars that were doing some voice acting, and they did some of the song for it. But
wasn't that one of the Jonas Brothers?
Jonas Brothers, thank you. And I don't know. It just it wasn't as good. It was a good film. Yeah, it was a good film, don't get me wrong, but out of all of the stuff I've seen, it's probably the weakest of the films I've seen.
It was weird. Ponyo was weird. It had a strange... It was aimed at a younger audience, but it had some weird stuff in it that, it was... I like Ponyo a lot. It's a gorgeous film, but it is one of their weaker films. I think I did see that in theaters, though, which is kind of cool. But actually, the way you've got this list made up, you give me some of the weaker ones. Man.
Oh, what, you don't like this kind of potential yaoi?
Okay. Potential nothing. Okay, from what I've seen, this is very much a yaoi. Okay, going from kids' movies straight into boys' love. Okay, this is... Okay, so we got some Funimation releases, and Super Lovers Season 1. It's apparently about two brothers. You know, I'm using quotes because that's often not the case when in Japan they like to play fast and loose with familiar relationships in anime.
Yeah.
And it's a yaoi. And
brotherly love.
Yes. And we might be diminishing that way too much. I don't know. I just know that when I looked at this, I was like, that does not look like one that interests me.
It could actually have... It could be deeper than you... Well, that's a bad word, too. But it could actually have more to it than it looks like. I mean, it might actually be good writing-wise.
Right.
I mean, Gravitation is a yaoi, and I actually consider it one of the better anime in my collection. And so... It's possible. I mean, I'd like to see well-written. I rarely see well-written yaoi or yuri. Usually they're crap. And we'll see how... well, I won't see that because I really don't have interest in the premise.
Before about the like Utena and that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I mean, some of it's good, but it's really hard to find really good of both.
Of course, in general, with anime, romance and relationships and that kind of thing oftentimes can be dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Although, and now you get the one I was interested in.
Actually, there is a song that I'm reminded of with this one, which says "Love is Orange," which is an interesting one from Dance Dance Revolution.
Okay.
Though I look like I would be more akin to actually juggling hamburgers than it would be to actually dancing around.
Juggling hamburgers?
Well, juggling them so that they can land in my mouth and get into my belly. Which is exactly what Orange is about. Juggling hamburgers.
Obviously.
So basically, it's about this person who receives a letter from their future self, and they end up actually discovering that some of the things in the letter are actually happening. That's really the short and the sweet version of it. It looks like it's going to be actually a fairly well done series, very good dramatic series, and 13 episodes. Though depending on the story, I'm not sure whether it would be too little or not for that particular.
I tell you, with Orange, I'm actually, like I said, I'm kind of curious about this one. I had not fully realized there was a show coming out, but in my library system, we actually have the omnibus of the manga. And I've eyed it several times. For some reason, I was like, this looks interesting. But I've just never gone for it. And now that I've seen a description of the story, I probably will check it out in the next couple weeks and read it. But basically, the idea is, this girl gets a letter from a future self, like you said. And she finds out that this guy that transfers into her class is fated to commit suicide, apparently. Yeah. So she's trying to find a way to fix everything. And it just sounds real interesting. It sounds like a good, kind of a shoujo-ish kind of story. It definitely caught my interest a lot more than the one you stuck me with, which I didn't even realize.
That's by the same people who did Tokyo Gore Police.
I didn't even see this listed as one of the releases coming out. We've got Garo TV Collection 1. And it's by Kraken Rising.
I love that Kraken Rising. That's like that's just like an awesome title for it.
Tokyo Gore Police does not sound like something that endears this to me at all.
Love Tokyo Gore Police.
Okay, well, you have more to say on it, obviously. For thousands of years, mankind has been under attack by demons, nightmarish creatures that feed off the darkness in men's souls and enter our world seeking bodies to possess, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So demons, possession, probably gory violence.
Oh, probably, most definitely.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Live action stuff.
Yeah.
I love Tokyo Gore Police because the humor is very tongue-in-cheek. If you liked, what was a good...
Did we watch that?
I think we did. It's one that advertised selling razors for girls who want to cut themselves. It's an interesting...
Yeah.
It's very, like I say, it was a very tongue-in-cheek type of humor. In a way, the humor kind of reminds me of Battle Royale, actually, to tell you the truth. So I'm curious how this one's going to be. Yeah. And actually, Tokyo Gore Police was not a bad film. It was enjoyable. So,
if it's the one I'm thinking of, it was funny, but it was borderline. I could barely watch it.
Yeah, well, you have a problem with gore.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But I can stomach it more if I have a reason to watch, and humor is a reason to watch.
Yeah.
You know, Planet Terror was a good example. It made me physically ill, but it was kind of hilarious. So.
Well, this next one actually is a good one for me on timing because I've actually watched the first season. Have you watched this or read about it?
No, I want to. I've seen bits of it.
Like Love, Chunibyo, and Other Delusions, Rika version. It's a movie, and I'm not exactly totally clear whether it's a retelling or whether it's something that's a
it's telling the story from her
but,
viewpoint.
You know, looking at her way of things, and she is this individual, and they call them chunibiyos, which I always have a problem with that word. But the original series,
eighth grader syndrome is apparently what they call it.
Is about this guy basically, and the concept of these people is that they're kind of stuck in their own imaginary world. And he was really good at this, but then he finally decided to go to the real world. He decided to live in the real world. But then there's this girl who never quite left her imaginary world, and he gets pulled into her stuff. It's, again, very cool. I've actually already got my copy of it, which is kind of, well, Right Stuff does that. So I do have my copy of it sitting in there. You'll have to take my word for it because I'm not pulling it out. That's pretty much what I've got to say about it. I loved the first season. I can't wait to watch Heartthrob, which I've still got sitting there, and this will also be right there.
Unfortunately, this franchise is a sore point for me right now because I really, really want the franchise, but I didn't get it fast enough, and I think Sentai has sold out of the Blu-ray of the first two seasons. They seem to be out of it anyway. They never seem to have it for sale. So it's either DVD or pay a crap load for the
Is
deluxe.
Sentai actually doing? Did Sentai re-release it?
Sentai has been releasing it all along.
I thought that they were originally released by NIS.
No, Sentai.
What, for Wagneria?
Oh, no, I'm still talking about the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about the next one. Sorry.
I'm still talking about... Sorry. I hope I didn't mislead you guys. Yes, Wagneria is also a sticking point, but for different reasons. Aniplex.
Yeah, they took it over at season 3 and then this one.
We are up to the second volume of www.wagnaria.com.
I have my own
I believe he has covered the first volume on a previous pickup video. I don't know that we have too much to add to that. It's a spin-off of the Wagnaria series. It's a great series, a lot of fun, great workplace comedy. Since I worked as a waiter, it hits home for me. It's a fun show. Actually, I worked as a waiter in a restaurant very similar to Wagnaria. Very similar.
It breaks my heart what happened to that series.
Yeah.
I mean...
NIS should have kept it all along and released the whole thing.
I mean, as a collector and somebody who's slightly OCD about their collecting, the fact that I've got the 2 premium NIS sets, which are about this large...
I have the first one.
The first 2 series.
The second one.
And then... Aniplex comes in and picks it up. And they release it a regular DVD size. They don't really do any special releases. You can either get the Blu-ray for like $67 a volume, or the DVD for a little bit less.
Now, granted,
and this one's expensive too.
This is a 5-episode volume, and the previous one was a 7-episode volume, which by Aniplex standards is positively large.
And it's nearly $100 per volume, which is, it's just too much. Yeah. It is something I have pre-ordered. When I talked about pre-orders, it's on there, and I don't look forward to that coming out.
And we've talked before that obviously we promote physical media here. We love physical media, even though I have issues with using the natural resources to create the physical media.
Yep.
I love the idea that people like us safeguarding these shows and keeping them around, because who knows what would happen if it was all online, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But for those of you who do your streaming more than buying, Aniplex is really good at streaming most of their series. So you can probably watch the Wagnaria.com online.
Yeah, somewhere. But it's originally an ONA, if I remember correctly.
Right. But anyway, so you get one with a very cumbersome title.
I get one that I'm not that interested in, which is Yamibo Darkness, The Hat and Travelers of the Book. It's a Media Blasters release. It's a 13-episode series. The whole tagline is, Hatsuki is a high school student living with Hatsumi. Yeah. And
they're
the two
so close
are
they misspell each other's names frequently.
And the two are so close that they are like sisters. On Hatsumi's 16th birthday, she is suddenly surrounded by green light and disappears right in front of Hatsuki. Now, this one's a weird one, because if I go to the actual page, it says like released in March of last year. But if I'm going to the pre-order page, it's released next week. So your guess is as good as mine. I'm not familiar with the series. It looks okay, but I really have no stake in it. I got too much to watch. It
looked really interesting to me, but it looked really interesting in the respect that when Right Stuff puts it on sale for $10, I'll happily snap it up. I may get it for more, depending. But the title, man, they really should have worked on that. But they disappear. I think she disappears into a book. And the whole idea of flipping through books to do, I like that. So that could be fun.
Kind of get a Shigi Yugi type thing feel to it.
So I see you give me one with no notes, so that you know.
Well, you've seen it, so you don't have to.
So the next release that we actually have 2 separate releases. I think there's there's like 3. I think there's a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a 4K. But one of the movies that I have actually, I think at this point, one of 2 movies that I've actually been to the theaters twice this year for. One of the great films of the year so far is coming out on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K this week. SpiderMan Homecoming, which, for those of you who are kind of not too familiar with the backstory here, or kind of like they rebooted again, why? Well, a lot of people don't even realize it is a reboot. They think it's a continuation of the Andrew Garfield series. Seriously.
Without Andrew Garfield.
Yes. So, we'll just start over. Yes, Sony has rebooted Spider-Man 3 times in 20 years. And yes, this is the first solo outing of the new Spider-Man who was introduced in Captain America Civil War, played by Tom Holland. He's a much younger Spider-Man than in the previous films, and Holland plays the role beautifully. He is perfect for Peter Parker, and a lot of the other cast is great too. I don't remember the name of the kid that plays his boy Nate, but is it Nate or Ned? I don't know. The guy in the chair, as he calls himself, he is hilarious in every scene he's in. And Michael Keaton does a great job as Adrian Toome, aka the Vulture. I still think it's messed up that they fired Sam Raimi partly because he wanted to do a Vulture film, and now they're doing a Vulture film.
Gotta irk him right there.
Oh man, he must be really upset. But and it's funny that Keaton, between Batman, Birdman, and Vulture, he's got an obsession with winged costume characters. But it's a great film. It's really, they've described it repeatedly as being kind of that John Hughes kind of 80s vibe, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, that kind of thing. Huh. But it is a superhero film. There is a twist near the end that's really fun and really cool, and they play it out well. They drop a lot of Easter eggs without overloading the movie with them. Like I didn't even catch the Miles Morales Easter egg until I read about it. But then when I read it, I was like, "Oh, that was kind of cool." It's a good one. It's a good start to a new franchise.
Yeah.
Let's hope that this one goes on the right trajectory rather than going off into insanity the way the last one did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Until Disney loses any rights to it again, and then Sony reboots it at fourth time.
Yeah, so that's part of the weird thing. Sony did the first two, and then they made a deal with Disney Marvel to where Marvel could use Spider-Man and certain Spider-Man characters, like Aunt May was also in Civil War, but they don't have the rights for all of them, which is. But I don't know where they drew the line. Because in this one, you have reference to Miles Morales and the Prowler. You have reference to Scorpion. You have reference to, you have Vulture. But you also have Iron Man and Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts coming in from the Marvel side of things. Yeah. But Sony is apparently making solo Venom film, and they're making one called Black and Silver, that's Silver Sable and Black Cat. But these characters cannot show up in the Spider-Man films.
Well, they're unrelated to the Marvel Universe with them.
Even though they're Spider-Man characters.
Yeah, so it's kind of an odd...
It's weird.
It's weird to make a Venom movie without any relation to Spider-Man. I don't really know what they're going to do there.
We'll see.
I have that ordered on Steelbook, so I'll actually be able to see it.
I probably should have ordered it that way. It's probably already sold out.
Well, I don't know. That's the thing with Best Buy. You never know until it happens. I didn't realize that that Logan, of all things, was going to be the golden boy when it came to that. Sometimes they make overabundances, like their Star Wars ones. Or sometimes, like in Logan, they only make a few. And those few go really quickly, and then they're on eBay for like hundreds of dollars.
I told you that was sold out. But
so I've got I picked up the Wonder Woman one, and now I'm gonna get this one. Films I really value or have a lot of interest in, I will put on Steelbook, and that one I ordered, and I've also got a pre-order for Dark Tower, which, for those of you who actually ordered through Amazon, congratulations on receiving your copies early. It seems like Amazon dropped the ball on that one. And sent them out like almost a month early.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, isn't that something?
So mine is going to be an interesting one. It's this Batman Superman anthology. I thought, ooh, cool. We get to see all the Batman and Superman animated film. No.
No.
It's all the original, like the 4 original Batman movies. Not anything to do with Adam West, but
the
like
Burton Schumacher
the Burton Schumacher run, which I have mixed feelings about.
As do most people.
And then the, of course, original Reeves Superman movies plus Superman Returns for some reason.
So you have some real gems and some not so much.
I don't know why they stuck Superman Returns on this. Because I guess maybe it's because it's from the same company.
Maybe they figured it was the odd one out, and it might as well.
That's just it's the one unrelated. But
that's fine.
It's a cool set. I like that. And if they make it thin enough, it would be a good set to save. My Superman set's like that, which would be nice to save some room.
Don't you already have a condensed Batman set?
I do, so probably am not getting this one, but it's
it would be a good one for me, because I think I have all 4 of those Batman films, although I still have not brought myself to watch Batman and Robin. The little bits I've seen made me very, very, very sad.
As a film person, you gotta see the worst as
and
well as the best.
I don't recall what I've actually seen with the Superman in 3 and 4. I know I've seen one of them, but it's been years.
Well,
but I only have the first 2 and Return, so I would be definitely saving space with this. But we'll see. But the next one, I'm actually excited about this, partly because I didn't even know about it, and now I know about it, and I must see this. It's a short series based on a book by Neil Gaiman, so that right there is awesome. It's called American Gods, and I can't remember who plays Shadow Moon, but Mr. Wednesday is played by Ian McShane. And for the life of me, I can't remember the rest of the cast, but it was a fascinating cast. I looked at the cast list and I was like, holy crap, I am getting this show. And the fact that it's based on a Neil Gaiman book, I mean, it sounds kind of cool. When Shadow Moon is released from prison, he meets the mysterious Mr. Wednesday, and a storm begins to brew. Little does Shadow know this storm will change the course of his entire life. You know, that sort of thing. It's got like kind of creepy, supernatural kind of, you know. That's my understanding of it. I can't remember what network this aired on.
No network at all.
Was it? It wasn't HBO, was it?
I have no clue, actually. There's just an oversaturation of the market of these like based on comics or graphic novels or any of this.
Oh, I tell you though, I saw a preview the other night. I am stoked for Runaways. That is going to be awesome.
That's going to be interesting. I like the Runaways comic. I enjoyed reading that. I read that for a while before I stopped reading comics, and I enjoyed it. I mean, the concept of villains, like children of villains going on their own, is pretty cool.
So that's going to be a Hulu series. That was it. Emily Browning. That's one of the ones that has me fascinated. She kind of first thing I saw her in was Lemony Snicket, where she plays the older daughter, and she has had a fascinating career since then that has included movies like Sucker Punch and Legend. So starring in American Gods, that's kind of cool. I got Ricky Whittle as the main dude. I don't know him. Crispin Glover is another one. He plays a guy named Mr. World. Gillian Anderson. Cloris Leachman. Peter Stormare. I mean, like I said, that is just a hell of a cast. So, very interesting.
So, let's see here. I got one that I know I've watched. And
sure
if I remember correctly, it's a Kubrick film, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, Barry Lyndon is getting a Criterion release, and for the life of me, I don't remember it. I have seen it. I know I have seen it, but I can't remember it. I don't even know if I have it. I may have it, but I mean, it's a Kubrick film, so it would be worth having.
Yeah. And I admit my Kubrick collection is pretty spotty. I think I own Barry Lyndon though, but I have the old, you know, those the flip, like the cardboard covers that Warner Brothers does.
Snap cases.
Yeah, the snap cases. I never much cared for those. But Barry Lyndon, it was notable as Kubrick's period. It's his historical period piece. It is. He made a point of filming it all in natural lighting, so it has a very soft look visually. I'm not sure how it's going to look cleaned up. It is not his most exciting film, not by a long shot. But if you are a Kubrick completist, or if you like historical costume dramas, you gotta at least check it out. And this is a film that deserves a Criterion treatment. And I'm pretty sure, I think they do have a lot of goodies on this one, don't they?
Oh, it's Criterion. Of course they're going to. This is an old enough film. This one is old enough they could easily find.
Yeah.
If they don't, then they did a poor job, and
Yeah.
I really don't think Criterion would do that.
Well, they are watering themselves down with all these new releases, but
Eyes Wide Shut still to this day is one of my favorite ones, which is I'm in the minority.
Yeah.
But
it was interesting.
I liked Eyes Wide Shut.
Okay, and now we briefly referenced Adam West.
Another order.
Next up, okay, this is, barring 1 or 2 episodes of Family Guy, this will be the last role of the late, great Adam West. There is a new animated feature coming out based roughly on Batman 66 called Batman vs. Two-Face, in which Adam West and Burt Ward reprise their roles as Batman and Robin.
Yes.
And I can't remember who plays Two-Face, but it was... there were some other interesting credits on this one too. But the most notable thing is Adam West taking one last go at Batman. And I don't even care if this movie sucks. It's going to be worth watching.
The last one, did you see the one, The Return of the Cape Crusader?
I don't believe I did.
Oh, it was excellent. I really enjoyed it. It was campy fun.
Okay.
And it gave you the same feeling of that 60s show.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more realistic,
Mm-hmm.
which is sad because it's animated. But, still, I did like it. You could tell the age in him, though, because of his voice.
Yeah.
But it's still, it was worth getting. And this one I had to go ahead and get. I got it on DVD because the animation's not exactly spectacular. But, I mean, it's one of his last roles. It's worth having. So, one that I guess that's definitely up my alley. Of course, you're getting a winner next after that.
Yeah, I'll have nothing to say on that. I can tell you.
I was talking. We were doing something about a shark movie, and we were talking about that in one of the compilation things we were doing. And this one can go along with that, and which is Frankenshark. So if you're listening and you know who you are, you can watch Frankenshark next week, and you'll be able to get that on there too. So you can pair that and have a nice thing there.
This is a film of such tremendous quality and such great backing behind it that it doesn't even have an IMDb page.
It's basically the man discovers the secrets of life. And he comes up with a horrifying new fish that is similar to a shark. And now it's preying on everyone. And soon it'll be preying on you.
And speaking of horrifying, I was hoping we'd never have to reference Dick Shark again on this channel, but the actress is the same actress.
See, same quality right there.
And, okay, well, if you look at the cover, I think that tells you all you need to know. The cover of the DVD is a pretty woman in a bikini standing knee-deep in the water holding a fish net that's this big. Like she's trying to catch a shark or something. It's like, what?
Maybe she's trying to catch Dick Shark. Maybe that's the species of shark that they came up with. Maybe this is a prequel to that movie.
What a horrifying thought.
Hey, and now you've got another one. This part of it's been
cut
off.
This is even more horrifying. Okay, this movie, the next one that is coming out this week, I could tell from looking at I looked at the cover, I was like, what the hell is this? And yeah, I will never, ever watch Spaceship Terror. Never. It's apparently a total gore fest. It looks like crap. But if you're into that kind of thing, go for it. I do not like movies that are all about gore. Yeah, you'll probably like the movie, I guess, but I'll never watch it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, this one, however, I do want to watch. History Channel's putting this out. It's America, the Promised Land, or America Promised Land, actually. Mm-hmm. And this basically, tells us about, just different stories about America, about migrants coming to America. especially in the face of this day and age where, there's all this, migrants are evil, they've always been evil, we should just, we should have kicked them out when we founded the country, that sort of thing. This kind of gives you an idea as like how important migrants did have in America. Real stories, interesting part of America that people don't really look at. Other than your typical Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and as we're recording this on Columbus Day, another thing about a migrant that did cause trouble. So I will give you that migrant did cause a lot of trouble.
Or geez, it's amazing how much people just don't even think about how probably 98%. 97% roughly of this country's population is not indigenous.
Yeah, well.
So everyone's an immigrant.
We're an invasive species.
Everyone's an immigrant. All this stuff about it, I just.
We can leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. But anyway, next up.
Not based on the video game.
No. This next up we have God of War, which is a Chinese film, I believe. And I honestly don't know too much about it. I tried to look at it and I couldn't really. It has to do 16th century. It's got to do with pirates and generals and plans and wit and weapons, and I'm just randomly pulling from his notes here. Any Chinese historical epic, I usually am at least willing to put it on the radar.
Yeah.
But nothing really jumped out at me about this one, so maybe one day I'll get to it. But if you're really into Chinese period epics, this is definitely one to check out, I think. Yeah.
Last one I watched was one at Jackie Chan. I think it was 1911.
Yeah, you ended up giving that to me.
I was kind of bored by it.
Yeah, it was all right. It was an unusual Jackie Chan film, that's for sure.
Speaking of Chinese historic epics, no, just kidding.
Really?
Shot Caller, which is some sort of like dark prison system action-y movie that doesn't look like. I feel like every time we get to the end of this list, we're just scraping the bottom of the barrel. I really do.
I think. Well, you're partly arranging it that way, but they're.
Well, I mean, I'm just doing it as it goes.
That is almost the same
That's
order.
That's exactly the order they...
So we can thank JoeBlow.com for their insight in arranging these things.
Well, the way they do it is they have like the main ones up there and the big things, and then they've got the little afterthoughts in the little bottom of the space. So we really are looking
Although
at the
it's really funny that Frankenshark actually was on the main screen, and
and America the Promised Land was not, which is kind of
sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really not going to do much more than that. You like your gritty action, drama, prison stuff. Yeah.
And I have very little to say on the final one, which is The Barn, except that what you said here kind of is what I got from the description, that it's a retro-style horror film. Apparently it's moderately well rated. If you're a horror fan, The Barn is probably a good one to get and to watch.
Just not going to pay that price.
And I'm not such a fan that I will seek them out. Unless I have a reason to do so. And this one didn't really give me that reason. But it might be, like I said, if you're into horror, especially since this is October, this is the month for watching horror. So,
I was getting ready to be on board with this. I had made an order for Batman, the Batman one there, and I said, I'll add this. And then I saw the price tag, $34.
That's a little much.
That's a bit too much for fun. For just something that I would consider a slightly fun Halloween movie. And then, the DVD is $64, which... Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they had it on Amazon. Which I'm guessing the DVD is like an old... Well, it can't be an older copy. It just can't...
It's just weird.
I personally am kind of disappointed in that.
Maybe it comes with a free barn.
Maybe. I would like that. I could do a free barn with that.
There may be a Halloween sale, and you could look forward to that.
Well, actually, Shocktober is coming to Scream Factory,
Oh.
and so they put out excellent horror releases. I mean, they're not exactly the most wonderful movies, but they're movies like that one, and they do run at those prices similarly when they're at full price, and this is your opportunity to pick them up at normal prices. But they are an excellent product. I don't knock their product. I mean, Aniplex puts out an okay product for the price that they're doing, but I don't consider it an excellent product for the price that they're doing. These people at Scream Factory, they put out, or Shout Factory being the parent company, they put out an excellent product for what you're getting. So, it is what it is. So, that's been your fill-in. It's been it's a little bit longer than normal, but we had a long list this time to go over.
Yeah.
So, I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, click the like button. Of course, if you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button. And, if you've got anything to add about these releases, comment. Let us know. We definitely would love to hear about what you think about these releases. Maybe Shot Caller is like the film you have been waiting for. You've been following it from since its inception, when somebody wrote the idea on a cocktail napkin, threw it in the trash, and then the studio picked it up out of the trash and decided this would be a good movie.
Or maybe you're the hell is Stanley Kubrick? Criterion needs to release Frankenshark.
Yeah, if you're sitting there for the Criterion Frankenshark, an Eclipse series that follows this whole shark trend. You can have Dick Shark and Frankenshark and Sand Shark and Pool Shark and Ghost Shark. And what's funny is that I think the only one that I don't think is a movie is Pool Shark, and I could be wrong.
Well, there's Pool Boy drowning out the Fury.
Oh, there you go.
It's a Criterion film. Okay.
So, any case, I hope to see you all in the next video, and you've been filled in for the next week.